Hey RJ, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Jason? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, excited to have you on. So tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is RJ Huebert. I run HBT Digital. We are a lead gen agency in Pittsburgh. So we focus on online ads and generating leads for our clients.
Awesome. How'd you get started?
I was the corporate marketing guy. I was the corporate marketing guy for about 11 years, rose up through the ranks to marketing director. And I was building someone else's business. I really learned the skills of digital marketing and somebody else was getting rich. And I was like, all right, well, maybe I could start getting some clients on the side while I had the day job. And then launched another brand and really figured out like, hey, I can get people to pay me money to provide services. And so I launched a 5K race company, did that for about 10 years, and then launched my digital marketing agency.
Very cool. Awesome. So did you ever hire agencies on the corporate side?
Oh, yeah. They were all specialized. There was an SEO company, a PPC company, and then a like outdoor media company, TV and radio. But they were all like, siloed.
Yep. What was your biggest frustration dealing with agencies on the corporate side?
Probably tracking and attribution. That we're talking probably 10 years ago. So it wasn't always very easy to see where the lead came from or where they're at in the pipeline. So that I think that was kind of the frustration. Somebody would say, "Oh, we're providing all these awesome leads and opportunities," but you don't always see that on the corporate side.
Yeah, that was always a challenge, right? Of where did the lead come from? What is working, right? Like, what's the fix on that now? Like, I felt like, we've worked with a lot of agencies over the years as a client, like we've hired them. And I've always told them, I'm going, hey, here's the KPIs that I want. But then they would always focus on different KPIs. Like we worked with this one lead gen company. They're like, oh, this is our open rate for emails. I don't care about open rate. I care about how many meetings are we setting. And they always bring up open rate because that was always a bigger number. I was like, I don't care about that. So like, did you see that as well?
I don't know if you remember I'm talking way back in the day. Do you remember whisper messages on phone calls? So we used to, I remember I was working at Ultimate Medical Academy. They were basically a for-profit medical school, nursing assistant, x-ray tech, phlebotomy. And it was heavy on the lead gen side. And we'd have to program all these like whisper message codes in this phone. So like if somebody called our specific ad and phone number, it would say like, incoming call, newspaper number 1. And then it would go right into the
I don't remember
call.
any of that. That's cool.
That was way old school. I mean, that was probably 2010, but interesting way to track. So if you missed that whisper code, you had no idea where that source came from.
Oh, that's hilarious. And then those salespeople, they're not going, oh yeah, this is from newspaper 1.
Exactly.
Right. And then the marketer never knows. Yeah.
I'm using high level now, and I feel like attribution from, the form, the chat widget, and the other tracking, I feel like works pretty well. And then obviously UTMs, but nowadays I feel like it's pretty good. I'm still struggling like GA4. I feel like there's some discrepancies, but
yeah, we were always, especially doing like Facebook ads, doing, using Google Tag Manager, like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And we're like, and you just kind of get like a baseline. That's kind of how we would, how we look at it. But, like as agencies and even business owners, we get so much information, like we're drowning in all this information, but we can't cipher, through the knowledge and create knowledge out of it. It seems like.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on when you had like clients? Would you like when a lead came in? Would you immediately hit up the client and say, "Hey,
Absolutely.
Are you working that lead? Are you following up on that?"
While they're still on my website, and this would be my exact script. I'd be like, "Hey, RJ, I saw that you were interested in blah blah blah. Sorry, it took me so long to call you back, and they were still on my website."
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Right, like it was kind of like, you remember the movie Swingers, right? Like when he's like, "Hey, I got the girl's number. When do I call?" And they're like 8 days, 6 days. Like I'm like, well, call right away. like if they say, here's my number, well, maybe not with the opposite sex right away, maybe the next day, but like when a lead would come in, I would literally call while they're still on my website because they would
That's like all.
forget.
That's all I'm thinking about nowadays is like, how are we communicating with that lead and opportunity? And how are we like, if we're not converting them into like a serious prospect, like right now, how do we nurture them? And what does that nurture sequence look like? And I don't think there's a one answer, like this is going to work for everybody, but I've been thinking about like 7-day welcome, like email series. Like, I don't know what your thoughts on that. I don't know if you have like a drip campaign for 365 days. Like some of these people out there are dropping multiple emails per day for a new lead. And to me, that it feels like overkill, but obviously they're doing it so that it might quote unquote work for them.
Well, I can tell you, I've always done the thing that I've always wanted to do back to me, right? So let's break down kind of the Google search or the search engine search. If I'm searching for a particular product or service, I'm going to click on the first one. And then if I like what they have to say, and it's more focused, like if they're a specialist, I'm going to fill out their form, and then I'm going to go to the next one, and I'm going to do the same thing in the next one. So whoever really calls me back first is going to win. And a lot of times I'll get a call, and I remember even being on the first strategy call after we won the account with the client that called us, and I called them back on the first day, and then a week later we'd be kicking off the project. They would go, "Hey, I just got a call back from a client when I called you, filling out a form." Like they waited 7 days. So I think call them right away. And then what we do on email, and we've changed it up a little bit. I'll explain why. And someone proved me wrong. And then I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. So we have a bunch of lead magnets out there, like helpful information. But I think that kind of stuff is kind of dying, honestly, right? Because no one wants a boring, 20-minute video. Not saying everybody's video is boring, but some people they're very dry and whatever, and no one wants a white paper. No one wants to read a case study. So it's getting harder and harder. But what we would do is someone would opt in. So let's say we have a budget buster video. The budget buster video is how to get the prospect's budget 99% of the time. It's a 2-minute video that they can go, oh my God, that would actually work. And then they can go use it. And then they're going to remember me for giving them that, because now they got a budget and they're not pitching to someone that's going to waste their time. And then what we would do is if they watch that video, we would send them another video like that. Well, here's how to convert 80% of your marketing proposals or whatever it is. And then we do that over a period of, let's say, 2 months. And it wouldn't be every day. It would be maybe 4 or 5 days between that. Once they go through that warm-up phase, then we would take them off the warm-up list, put them in the newsletter list. And then this is where my mentality has changed. We used to just send a newsletter once a week or sometimes sporadically, if I'm being honest with you. And what we saw was, and I try to not make it look like a newsletter, I'd make it just look like I wrote it. And that was a mistake. And what we saw was we would look at our domain name authority for email, and it would drop. And it would drop big time. Right, and you could see if you go to like Postmaster, Google, you kind of check them all out, and it dropped down. So then, what one company we started working with, they go, man, we need to build that domain name authority up, but we only need to send to people that have opened up an email in the past 30 days, and we're going to send them an email every day with something of value. I was like, man, if someone sent me an email every day, unsubscribe. They're like, you're not on anybody's list? I was like, I get Seth Godin's every day. And like, do you read it every day? I'm like, absolutely not. He's like, do you unsubscribe from it? No. Do you read some of them? Yes. And he's like, it's like, aha, right? And so that's what we started doing. And it's been crushing it for us.
I like that approach.
Yeah. So you just gotta, but at the end of the day, I always tell everybody, do how you want to be marketed back to. And don't use the false urgency when it's not false urgency.
Who sends the most annoying emails? And I'm not going to call out a specific person. This is a company. Meta sends at minimum like 4 or 5 different emails every day. And it's just like, what are you doing?
Well, you know, it's annoying. So we just started running ads again, and we were using an agency. Well, Meta would call us direct, trying to have us work. I was like, man, you're trying to steal work from agency. I published 2 weeks ago, or whenever this is live, you just go look, Mark Zuck declares war on the ad agency. Because they're trying to do a lot of AI tools where people can go in and kind of really kind of replace the agency for the people that want to actually do it. But yeah, they're starting to call, clients that are spending, and I can't ever understand them. Their English is horrible. I always say, hey, I'm out with my son right now. Can you send me an email? They never can send you an email for some odd reason.
Interesting.
And it's the most annoying. And then they'll just randomly call you, and you'll see like business Meta. And I'm like, voicemail. Like, and they provide no value whatsoever.
Support on Meta is a little difficult. And then Google ads, oh my God. When you have all these accounts and every quarter you're getting a new rep for every account. And that's just like, ignore. Cause they're all like, hey, spend more money, add broad match keywords. There you go.
Well, so a couple years ago, our Facebook account was hacked. And so we obviously help out agencies, and they hacked it to sell Asian baby products.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't get it back for 3 years.
3 years?
3 years. Finally, I just created a new one. And imagine that. As soon as I created a new one, they're like, oh, here, you can get access to this back again.
No way.
No.
That's annoying.
That's when I sold all my stock for Meta. And then my stockbroker constantly reminds me how bad of a decision that was. I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, why do they keep going up?
Mm-hmm.
So, but what's been a surprise being from the corporate side to the agency side? What's been a surprise for you?
How hard it is. It's so easy going into your day job, right? And focusing on one client, one thing, one task, and just doing that every day. And it's robotic and boring, and that's why people get out of it. But it's so like quote unquote cushy. I mean, yes, there is stress. Yes, you're going to have a boss. Yes, you're going to have to do things, but wait till you get out on your own and try to get clients to pay you money, pay you every month, and find new clients and keep them happy. I think what I love about it though, is you can get fired any single day in your corporate job, and that's your one opportunity, and you lose that opportunity and you're not eating. On the client side, if one client fires you, you might have 5, 10, 20 more, paying, the bills. So it's kind of the pros and cons, but it's a lot harder on this side, the agency side, but I think it's more rewarding.
It is. And it gets easier too, which is kind of, people are like, well, how does it get easier? It's when you start hiring the right people on your leadership team, they start taking things away that you were worrying about or you were having to do, right? Like, the curse of owning any kind of business, or especially an agency, is you can't turn off your mind on it. Even if you're not working, you're still thinking about it. Whether that client did something to you, or you're worried about whatever it is, like something small, your mind is constantly always on, and you're always thinking about it. Like I always looked on the other side. Like what I told the story before, like one of my great friends out here, his son's going to be an airline pilot. I asked him, like, why is he going to do that? He's like, well, turn off the plane. Don't have to think about it after. I was like, man, that's awesome. But it goes back to what you were saying about the corporate, right? Like I can fire you in a second and you're gone, right? Like you have to listen to other people. So, it's always the grass is greener on the side you water. So
I think one of the biggest challenges right now is like that prioritization aspect of it, of running a small business. Is like you have 8 zillion things that you can and should be doing, but what is that priority, and how are you focusing and knocking out the tasks that are most meaningful for the business? So that's kind of I've started incorporating Chat GPT. I'm on the paid membership. I got my GPT running. And I think that has really been a time saver. So like if I want to knock out the emails, the blogs, just like getting content ideas, and obviously you got to put that human element in it, and add your own color and stories. But like just being able to kind of get that rough draft is just such a time saver.
Yeah. It's just it's hard, but yeah, AI is definitely making it a lot easier. And I think in the next coming years there'll be $1 billion company that's one person.
Yep, I think so.
Which is crazy. I think it'd be very lonely to create that. But
are you going to be a lonely billionaire? No.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Like, well, look, when people with money used to tell me this, I used to tell them they're full of crap. They're like, never make a decision based on money. I was like, whatever. It's easy because you got money. And then when, I got to that point, I realized it was true. And then like when you have like something like with your health go wrong or something, you're like, there's no money in the world that could fix that. And you would give up $1 billion to fix that, right? I've only realized this maybe a couple years ago. I'm much older than you, but it takes some time to realize that one.
Yeah, I mean, I spent close to 30 hours in the hospital, not myself, a family member, over the past week, and it just makes you think about your priorities and your health, and even walking and going to the fridge and being pain free is like, we don't think about those things because it's natural and it's something we can do on our own. But like, the health and wellness is like such an important thing that no money will ever, redeem you if you have an issue. So
yeah, I mean, like one of the things I'm constantly telling people in the mastermind, they'll be like, I'm like, look, it's always like your health, family, and the agency. That's in that right order. Like, but most people, especially as they're building it, it's agency first, then family, then health. And like, then you can't take care of your family or you have bad health, right? Like they have the priorities out of whack. But if you're healthy, you're going to be great with your family. And if you're great there, everything else will start to follow. So I always hate to see, people that, and, obviously like Gary Vaynerchuk, he's got a divorce. He doesn't really talk about it, but like he hustled and hustled and hustled. So he prioritized business, but he also prioritized, if I can say that word, health. But, it cost him some of his,
and we talked about the prioritization at the agency level, but I have two small kids. I don't know if you have kids. So I have a 3.5 and a 1.5-year-old, two girls. So we're dealing with like the school situation, pickups, drop-offs, while trying to maintain that small business, while trying to be a family man and get the tasks done that people pay me for. And that whole balancing act has been a juggle. I mean, especially like when they're super, super young. I mean, even that first year and second year of the kid is just like, because lack of sleep, bad diet, not exercising, and oh no, you got to respond to emergencies at work. And it's just this juggling act that I don't know if it ever really goes away, but it's maybe your prioritization on those things get better.
It does. And you create rules around your day, you create rules around your week, right? So like, I don't do meetings on Monday. I go do Epic Fridays. On the weekends, it's family time. So I only work from Tuesdays to Thursdays, and I only work from 9 to 2. Right. So there's the rules that I figured out of where I operate at my max that I can accomplish and really kind of balance everything. And that works for me. Now, does that work for everyone? No. You have to figure out your fighting weight, on that. But it took me a long time to find that out, to kind of find that, that groove.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, RJ, man, this was a lot of fun. I want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing your insights. And for everyone listening, if you guys are are tired of doing everything by yourself at the agency and not really having a community to kind of see the things you might not be able to see, love to invite you all to check out Agency Mastery. Go to agencymastery.io. And until next time, have a swank day. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you want more content like this, make sure you click on the link on the screen or check out your most popular podcast platform where the full episode is there. And until next time, have a swank day. What are you doing? Go check it out. Click on the link. I'll see you soon.